I just went back to school recently and we're starting to have to take some more exams, and I was thinking that it'd be a really cool idea to film like a how I study for exams video, because in college it's a little bit different to study for exams than in high school, and I kind of came up with my own way of how I study for almost every exam, and it helps me out a lot. I feel like it's not as much like sitting down and reading. It like kind of keeps you busy the way that I do things. So I thought I'd share it with you guys and maybe it helps you out. I don't know. I know midterms and finals probably haven't hit for you yet, but I figure by the time I get this video up and stuff, I'm sure you guys will have midterms and finals eventually. So what I do every time that I have an exam or a test is I make a study guide, even though the professor, at least in my college, don't usually give like study guides. Usually you just have to like go off of what they've talked about. But I usually take PowerPoints. A lot of my professors have PowerPoints, and I take notes on those sometimes, or even just handwritten notes, and then I always put those in a study guide. And on my laptop, the Word that I think it's an outline. You like go in and then there's templates, and I usually use an outline, and then I like type out the class and what exam it is, because usually there's like multiple exams or even like just midterm and final. So this one is from the human development class that I took last semester, and she had PowerPoints that I like took notes on and like kind of translated to here. Basically I write out the chapter that we're studying for each one, and then I write like bullet points that what they have said is important, or from the PowerPoint I translate a lot of information, and then after I go through and like put all the information down that you need. So I don't know if you guys can like see any of this, but like it's full, and this is like long. I think it's 4 pages front and back, so like it's a long study guide. But I promise it works, because when you're typing it out, you're looking at your notes or your PowerPoint and then you're typing it out. So you read what the teacher is giving you, you hear it when they're lecturing, you write it down, and then you translate it. So you're taking what you wrote and you're typing it out. So you're kind of getting more familiar with the information without feeling like you're overwhelmed with studying. Don't get me wrong, these take a long time for me to do, but they're so helpful because you're still learning and you don't necessarily feel like you're studying, because you just feel like you're typing. So I just find that it's a lot less boring. And also for like finals, I keep all my study guides for the semester, and then it really helps to have like all the information that you really need to focus on. You have already gone through it each exam, but I just kind of write out the important information, and then I always go through and take colored highlighters, and I have like 50 different colors just because it helps me out a lot. So I'll do like yellow, I highlight important stuff. Sometimes I like follow a certain key and then sometimes I don't, but most of the time I just go through and I highlight a lot of important things that I have, and then like I will put in some images sometimes. I don't know if you guys can see that I put an image there, or I'll like write on it. Like it helps sometimes to remember things, so like if I'm trying to find something, then I'll write it down, and it just really helps you study. And if you just keep going through it, and I find a lot of times if you say the information out loud, it helps. So when I'm studying, I'll look at it, but then I'll like read it out loud and kind of talk to myself, which might be weird, but I swear it helps when you vocalize what you're saying, or you try to explain something out loud instead of just like reading it. So that's mostly what I do. It's pretty simple, but I just feel like a lot of people don't do that really. But I definitely think it helps you to study for exams. And then some exams I've had, that's what I usually do for like multiple choice, but I've also had some exams where you have to like write an essay, and those are really hard to study for. But what I do when I have those kinds of exams is I literally write everything out. So this one was again for my human development class, and we were learning about the Erickson's 8 stages of development. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but basically I'd write out each stage, the number, like what it was about, an example, and then I'd highlight them all in different colors because I'm very like visual. So if I'm taking a test and I kind of blank out, if I can think of the color it's in, usually it'll like come back to me, which is another good tip, is to highlight it in certain colors. So I would write like the name and I'd highlight that in one color, and the example would be in a different color. That way I can physically think of each one differently. So I don't know if you guys can see like how color coded it is, but it really helps to write everything down and then go through it over and over and over again and just keep reading it. And it helps to handwrite like the essay out, because then you're kind of getting used to what you're saying. And this one is for my philosophy class that I took one time, and I just did the same thing. I wrote down exactly what I wanted to talk about, or what I wanted to say, and then color coded everything so that it was easier to remember. And I really find that this helps because the colors just really help you remember. And also if you like write it in a certain way, I just think it helps. And then another thing I like to do for my more sciencey classes, and this is what I did a couple semesters ago, I had to take biology and anatomy, and those can kind of be tricky sometimes because I feel like you kind of lose the details. So you listen to the professor talk in class, and then you get back and you're studying and you're just like a little bit lost and you don't remember exactly how a process works, and it's kind of hard to just read it. If you look up on YouTube like videos of whatever you're learning about. So like say anatomy, there's this one, I'll link, if I can find the channel I'll link it, but he has really good videos about anatomy. So like the nervous system, say you're learning about the nervous system, if you just type in nervous system on YouTube, it'll give you videos of things, and it helps to hear somebody else talk about it, and sometimes they can simplify it in a way maybe your professor didn't. And also you can just do it at home, so you can watch it as many times as you need and get all the information that you need for the exam, and it just kind of helps to hear it again, especially because it's easier access than listening to your professor. You have your computer at home that you can look up. But I think that's all the tips I have of studying for exams and how I do it, and like my study guides. I hope this video was helpful for you guys if you're in college or even if you're in high school and you study for your exams. I know I didn't really, but I know some people studied a lot in high school. But I really hope it helps. I know this is probably like a really simple video, but I just thought it would help to see somebody else, how they study and how they kind of do things, because everybody studies differently, and maybe this will help you out on your next exam. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!